Now, I want to get into what I think is the most crucial portion of the Montreal Canadiens schedule, and it begins with the 7th place New York Islanders, 24 points, a .480 point percentage. Let's move on from there to Nashville, out to the Western Conference and the NHL's Central Division, where Nashville has 20 points and a .400 point percentage. So, beatable games, right? Then the Washington Capitals enter the chat, the number 1 team in the Metro with 35 points and a .729 point percentage, okay? And then after the Capitals, tough team number 1 on this 5-game homestand that is crucial to the Canadiens figuring out if they are on the right path or not. So after Washington, we move on to the Anaheim Ducks. Back to the Western Conference we go, and the Pacific Division, where you look again towards the bottom of that division, and Anaheim 6th with a .500 point percentage. After that, it's back to the East and the Metro Division, and the last place, Pittsburgh Penguins, with a .462 point percentage and a division low 24 points with the New York Islanders, okay? So these next 5 games take us to December 12th. And we are going to figure out, and I don't think I'm being dramatic, we are going to figure out between the New York Islanders and the last game against the Pittsburgh Penguins on this 5-game homestand if the Montreal Canadiens rebuild, my friends, is on track, is moving at a good pace, and it is something you can believe in. And I'm fully aware that the Montreal Canadiens have no business looking at any team in the National Hockey League through the lens of, we need to get right. And this is the team that can get us right. The Montreal Canadiens this season will be the get-right game, whether it's the New York Rangers who beat them on Saturday, the Rangers had lost 5 in a row. It doesn't matter. That's where the Canadiens are competitively speaking. And don't twist my words. It's not what I'm saying. I don't think the Canadiens are going to go 5-0. And if they don't go 5-0 on this 5-game homestand, all hell is going to break loose. No, they have to pass the eye test, my friends. This is more or less the battle outside of Washington, the battle of the basement dwellers of the National Hockey League. You have one first-place team there. You have Anaheim in the Pacific Division near the bottom. You have Pittsburgh, the 8th-place team out of 8 teams in the Metro. The Islanders on Tuesday, 7th out of 8 teams in the Metro Division. So you catch my drift? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Canes are going to steamroll everybody, but boy, do they need to bring the jam. They need to look the part, and they need to play the part more importantly. And so hit me up in the chat if you feel differently, because if things go sideways, and we can do the best case, worst case scenario, all we like, that if the worst case scenario plays out, I'll predict a future. And the future is Ken Hughes and Jeff Gorton need to look at this rebuild, analyze it, and see if they have a plan B. Because if they come back on, and you and I are here talking together on the 12th of December, and the Montreal Canadiens have their tail between their legs because they got absolutely squashed in 5 games against more or less, like Montreal, the bottom-dwelling teams, this, my friends, this is the first time this season where I will come to you from the angle of, I think they're in trouble. So that's what's on the line starting tonight at home against the New York Islanders. And past that, yes, you've got Nashville, 7th in the Central. You got the tough Washington Capitals. Anaheim, 6th in the Pacific. And then you move on to the last place team in the Metro and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So you tell me I'm wrong. Tell me, no, Sean, you're being way too dramatic. I don't think so. While I have you on the subject of problems, I do believe the Montreal Canadiens have a goalie problem. And that goalie problem is Caden Primo. And it's unfortunate because I don't want to hang the 6-3 loss on Caden Primo, but some of those goals. And Mike Matheson on Sunday afternoon in Boston on the Bruins Centennial game with legends like Willie O'Ree and Ray Bourque and Bobby Orr and Johnny Busick all in attendance. Caden Primo wasn't at his best, and he needed to be at his best. And yes, Mike Matheson had arguably, I believe, his worst ever sequence run of play as a Montreal Canadien, getting his pocket picked by Pasternak, getting pushed over onto the net, bing, bang, boom, 70 seconds, it's 3-0. And then the perfect pass to McAvoy, and it's 4-0 Boston. They score shorthanded 40 seconds into Sunday afternoon's game, and the game is over. But credit to the Canadiens, credit to their better players. Cole Caulfield scores goals 15 and 16. Arbor Jacki certainly in the mix. Josh Anderson certainly in the mix. So they did have a little bit of a pushback, but by the time they pushed back, Boston was already long gone and never really felt it, handing the Canadiens a 6-3 loss. The other positive for me as we move forward in this season is Emil Heineman. What an unbelievable story Emil Heineman has turned into. I'm not so sure how much y'all are aware of Emil Heineman from the fact that he's been flipped twice. He was a piece that brought Florida Sam Reinhart, and then ultimately the Canadiens moved Tyler Toffoli, and that's how they get Emil Heineman, who was dealing with various issues. He had concussion problems. He doesn't even have like 30 games of NHL experience on his resume, and we're talking about a guy who's fourth in NHL rookie goal scoring with 6 goals. It's crazy that Matvei Michkov, Macklin Celebrini, and Logan Stankoven, those are the 3 rookies that have scored more goals than Emil Heineman has. So an unbelievable run of play for Emil Heineman, who no doubt, playing 11 minutes and change, he can absolutely handle more. I would love to see the organization give Emil Heineman more opportunities. As I've spoken about before several times, as a matter of fact, he has such a heavy shot. Pay attention to when he misses the net, the sound the puck makes when it hits the boards. Emil Heineman is a fun player to watch. He's aggressive, he's smart, and he can finish, and the team dramatically, desperately needs finishers. So as it stands today, the Montreal Canadiens, going into the start of a 5-game homestand, have 2 rookies in the top 10 of rookie scoring in the National Hockey League. With the 14 points that Laine Hutson has put up, he's 4th in NHL rookie scoring, and Emil Heineman is 10th in rookie scoring, but 4th in goals amongst rookies with 6, as the Canadiens embark on a very crucial part of their schedule. That 5-game homestand, I believe, will make or break what Ken Hughes and Jeff Gorton believe or don't believe in the makeup, composition, and the execution of this rebuild. Hit me up in the chat. Do you look at this Canadiens 5-game homestand through the same lens that I do? You don't have, outside of Washington, you're not talking about a lot of tough teams. And the Canadiens, again, I'll repeat myself, they are not in the window of, we have last place Pittsburgh. That's a get-right game for us. No. The Canadiens are a bottom-dwelling team, bottom of their division, near the bottom of the standings, and they're going to play teams that are kind of in their territory. So let's see what this team has. There is an opportunity here to pass the eye test and start to feel a lot better about yourself, and it begins in this next 5-game homestand, because things get a lot trickier with this congested schedule and the Four Nations Cup and the NHL trying to cram in as many games as possible so they can fit everything in. So this is it, my friends. Get ready, dig in. Let's watch this team. Let's watch their best players. Let's watch Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield continue to make strong cases for their seasons. Let's see Cole Caulfield continue to score goals. How about a Laine Hutson goal this week? That would be nice. And I'll link my video that I did with Sean Campbell. More content coming with me and Campbell this week. We'll get into the Laval Rocket prospects, whether or not there are any players there that are attractive to potential suitors as we get close to the early March NHL trade deadline. So we've got lots to tackle there all week with Sean Campbell as he joins me here. And so we'll get into the value or lack thereof with certain unrestricted free agents, David Savard, Yoel Armia, Christian Dvorak, and Jake Evans, and what we think is going to happen there. And then ultimately, getting set to react to the Montreal Canadiens all week on a very crucial, important, valuable 5-game homestand. So I'll link the video that Campbell and I did about David Jiricek, the former Columbus Blue Jacket, 21-year-old right-handed defenseman, former 6th overall selection, now a member of the Minnesota Wild, in a package that I think the Canadiens could have put together. But I'll tell you, go watch the video later. I'm glad the Montreal Canadiens didn't make this move and didn't move several assets in order to bring this guy in. You go watch the video, and we'll tell you why the Montreal Canadiens were in the right by not making that trade that the Minnesota Wild did, getting David Jiricek out of Columbus. So enjoy game day. We'll react, of course, later in the week as the Montreal Canadiens back to the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. But this is it, my friends. I feel strongly about this. This next 5 games for Montreal are going to matter a lot to upper management as it relates to, is this rebuild on track, or do we need a plan B? Hit me up with the comments. Tell me what you think.